Welcome back, YouTube, Bears fans, NFL. Got the main event, Kevin Haggerty, Johnny C. We're here with maybe our second video this week, another thing that we're going to be trying to do. And so if you like the way that we're formatting the scheduling, be sure to let us know. Be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment what you're thinking about, the Bears coverage that we got. We wanted to kind of take the time in the off season to make sure that we're covering all the big hires, and we got a couple of small moves this week.
I would say that, but so our first podcast was kind of just like state of the NFL where we're at. Now this one's going to be solely more Bears focused, right?
Yes.
So there's 2 episodes, 2 takes. You don't want to ignore the NFL, but we do want to talk about Bears coverage.
We're doing the countdown to the draft right now. We got 86 days, some change. We got a tentative new logo.
Love it.
Do you like it? And actually, Kevin, before we actually get into the Bears talk,
sure,
I want to do a little bit of non-NFL tangent.
Okay.
For the people who are still watching.
Okay.
It's been about 90 seconds, so probably only like 3 or 4.
Wow.
Have you ever seen this before?
No.
This idea before. So the idea at different stages in your life, you have basically these 3 attributes, and they change as you progress.
Nice.
So
I got that pretty quick.
So when you're young, you got a lot of time, a lot of energy, but no money,
sure,
and so on. If you were to kind of break it down into percentages in terms of where you feel like you are currently in your life, not like pointing to one of these, but break it down to percentages like time, money, energy, where you feel like you're at.
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
I was thinking about this a lot today because I'm not playing basketball.
Yeah.
And I'm just I'm dribbling full court down for 5 minutes. And I'm just I might actually pass out if I keep doing this.
I was going to say my energy has not been as high as it had, but it's also being a father.
I think that's a lot of what it is.
I just started taking vitamins again.
Oh, really?
Like a multivitamin.
Okay.
I should have looked up what they do, but my mood has been boosted. But
Are you taking tea? You can tell me if you're taking tea.
No, I'm not taking tea.
Yeah, I mean, we've been listening to a lot of ESPN radio recently. Did they finally get you with their free child Nugenics?
No.
Should we do a commercial for Nugenics?
That would be really actually fun. That's fucking funny. See, that was crazy foreshadowing if you knew. No, I'm taking multivitamin and fish oil.
Multivitamin fish oil?
Yeah, and I don't know why. I just feel more lively and energetic. But go ahead.
I was Tara tried to get me to do vitamins one time, and I just can't.
I take the gummies.
I can't do anything daily. Do they taste good?
Dude, it's like eating a fucking gusher.
Okay.
It's great.
Right.
Would recommend.
So what would you say?
I would say my time is probably
What would you say is your highest attribute right now?
Probably time.
Think time?
Well, I think time left in life.
No, I'm thinking of time in your day to day. Time to do things. Because when you're old, you have all the time. You don't responsibilities. Your time isn't spoken for. That's kind of what it's going for.
I guess it would probably go energy, time, money.
Okay.
Is probably
what percentages would you give it?
Energy probably 50-60, time 40-30, and then money probably 5.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because you're compounding money. Where I am today financially, relative to where I was when I was a child, different. But I'm not a millionaire.
Yeah.
But I will be I'm not trying. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's being true. You're in the trajectory to have money. I mean, that being said, I would have said money is probably my better thing right now.
But dude, it's just gonna grow.
That's true. No, I'm saying I'd probably put myself 40-50 money.
Yeah. I'm talking about the end of your life. You think you're at 40-50% of your net worth today?
No, but I'm just saying in terms of stability with money and things like that. I have the money to do things I want to do.
John, I just renovated a whole fucking house.
I know.
I think we're pretty flush.
No, I understand.
We're okay with cash, but long-term money is
I know. No, but I'm saying, but relative to my money, my energy and time, the becoming a new father thing just absolutely tanks that. So I would say in terms of my slider here, I'm saying probably 60 money. I'm going to say 25 energy and 15 time.
Yeah,
that's part of the reason why I'm so happy that we do this every week is because it's a creative outlet. It's doing something that for the sake of doing it. It's not focusing on career. It's not so objective based. But and I think everybody needs that. Yeah. I feel you need some sort of side project, some sort of hobby.
I agree
because I look at my parents who
don't have hobbies.
I don't feel they have much to do, and I don't want to be that guy. I want to be someone to talk, someone with friends, circle, things to talk about.
That's why we're still friends today.
That's
Johnny.
why we're still friends today.
Come on, brother.
All right.
Let's go.
All right, so every mock draft I look at, it's still saying Caleb Williams. There's really like no one other than like players are saying.
It's just if the Bears trade down or not.
Yeah.
Caleb's going 1-1, like without question.
But most people are still saying that Caleb is going to be going to the Bears.
I mean, I don't know how you can't.
Yeah.
I think the only people that say he's not are people who want to have a hot take.
So I mean, we are the official Tank for Caleb podcast.
We have been. Please
for
go all the way
months.
back. Yes.
For months.
Go all the way back. I introduced Caleb to Johnny, and I was like, dude, this guy's amazing.
That being said, I want to do a deep dive, and we're going to do a podcast about just Caleb Williams, talking about who he is and
write that down.
Yeah, no, I haven't. It's written down. It's in the bank, man.
We got a whole list of episodes for you guys, so don't get bored.
Be sure to like and subscribe. But for the new hires this week,
yes.
What do we got?
Let's talk first of all defensive coordinator. So we hired a guy named Eric Washington. Mm-hmm. Decent background, seems pretty strong. So he started actually his career with the Chicago Bears in 2008. He was hired as a defensive assistant, and he was promoted to defensive line coach in 2010. So he was hired by Lovey. And
you were saying, okay, I didn't realize that.
That's why I wanted to check how long.
That's actually not a bad pedigree. That was a pretty good era of Bears.
Agreed very much. He spent some time then in Carolina Panthers to 2018. He was under Steve Wilkes, who's actually a pretty good head coach, or he's a head coach now of the Arizona Cardinals.
Was Ron Rivera there during that era?
Riverboat Ron would have been there.
And Ron was like the defensive mind at that time.
Correct. And most recently, he was at the Buffalo Bills, where he was latest at the assistant head coach and defensive line coach. So, what's his name up in Sean McDermott in Buffalo? So, like some good coaches that he's been with, some good background.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure much about him. As far as what kind of defense he runs, if he runs a 3-4, 4-3, I mean, I'm assuming a 4-3. The max.
I don't think they're going to make much of a difference. Because here's the thing about good if we get a good hire.
Yeah.
Our defense did fine with Eberflus leading the charge.
Yeah, Eberflus probably still going to.
And Eberflus wasn't going to make a hire that was going to overthrow what he was building there. So I mean, it's good that we got a guy. Like I think it's going to be basically just someone who's going to be able to rally the guys, keep the energy up. And maybe take over the play calling. That'll be interesting to see if Eberflus keeps doing that.
I think he should.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could. I mean, it really depends on like how much bandwidth you want as a coach on the sideline to just be able to take a look at the big picture. But we'll see. That's interesting.
I'll tell you this, like from the standpoint of like being in the details and then pulling yourself out of the details. Right, I feel like you can be a much more effective leader and figurehead when you're not in the details at all.
Yeah.
If I were Eberflus, I would let go of that and just kind of take a more holistic, like figurehead leadership role. Because you need someone in the organization who's a decision maker, who isn't in the details, who can objectively, like what would be best would be you have your offensive coordinator running the offense or defensive coordinator running the defense, and they come to you for the ultimate sign-off.
Yeah.
And you could objectively not be in their shit all day and have a decision and make the final say. So it's ideally where we'd like to go. And then let's talk about the other hire, Kerry Joseph, which I mentioned previously. Can never trust a guy with two first names. Okay. Just kidding. But
hot take. We just lost all of our John Michaels. And,
I know, Michael John. Sorry. So weird thing about Kerry Joseph that I found was super funny. So he played in the league. He played for the Seattle Seahawks for 4 years at safety.
This is our quarterbacks coach, right?
Yeah.
Quarterbacks coach, okay.
Because I was looking up. So he played at safety for 4 years for the Seahawks. After that, he got cut. Okay. What does he do?
What does he do?
Goes to Canada. Decides he's going to play quarterback.
That's right. Okay, I didn't know. Cause, I was like, is this the same guy I'm thinking of? Yeah, I did see that. Okay.
Then he decides to go play Canadian football, and then he ends up winning the Grey Trophy and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I started out in his biography. I'm like, what's a safety doing?
Yeah,
coaching quarterbacks. Go to
Canada. Yeah, because that was like I thought I read about him being going to Canada for a little while. He was like I think he was in the high school system for a little while when he came back to the States.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really funny. So he actually had a pretty successful. He won like MVP in the Canadian League.
Okay,
he's one of the first Canadian football guys to have over 1,000 yards of rushing for a quarterback. So like obviously more of a mobile quarterback, which kind of plays into kind of the Justin Fields kind of thing, but like once again also Caleb Williams as well. So regardless, I think this guy seems like he's got a robust history. he spent most of his time as a head coach. I don't want to go through his whole thing, but most recently he was in the Seattle Seahawks, which, kind of brings up the rumor mill. You bring in the offensive coordinator, you bring in the quarterback's coach from the Seahawks, DK Metcalf, I floated you earlier pre-show, which you said you weren't into. I'm saying I am into, because they're saying Mike Evans may come here, and Mike Evans is like 30-something.
I just don't think that we have like the
cap space, because we do.
We do, but I just don't feel like we have the quarterback situation on lock. Especially if we end up going Caleb Williams, I don't think I want to flood our team with older, expensive wide receivers.
DK Metcalf isn't old.
He's old
no, he's
by
not.
a wide receiver standpoints. And he's been on a downtrend.
I'm not going to lie. He is on a downtrend. How old do you think he is?
He's probably 27.
He's 26.
26, okay.
How old do you think DJ Moore is?
DJ Moore?
Yeah.
DJ Moore is 25.
DJ Moore is 26.
Is he really?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong then. Okay.
So we have two receivers at 26. They haven't hit their prime yet. Just in DK Metcalf, have you seen his biceps? They're the size of your head.
Deacon is he's an athletic guy, obviously, and he had like monster years like that, kind of looked like rivaled Calvin Johnson his first couple of years in the league.
That was his comp. Was Calvin Johnson.
100%. I don't know. I mean, I think if we kept Justin, I think I'd be more into that move. Another thing I'm going to talk about, we mentioned before, we were talking before the podcast, is RG3's got some sort of forum, and he had Brandon Marshall on. I hadn't heard that name in quite a while. I wonder what Brandon Marshall is doing these days. But RG3 asked Brandon Marshall, like, should the Bears move on from Justin Fields to Justin Fields? This was like such a clickbait article from Sports Mockery, like, this is going to force the Bears' hand. But basically, Brandon Marshall said maybe Justin Fields should move on from the Bears.
You know what I would tell Brandon Marshall? That's not how it works, because players are under contract, John.
Yeah.
So what is he going to do? Retire?
No, he could request a trade. Say, like, okay, you're in the situation. I want to be traded. I'll make this real easy for you. Trade me, send me to a better situation.
And then you know what that becomes? Justin Fields becomes a prima donna. When does
it happens all the time?
People who publicly come out and request trades, when does that ever work?
I don't think it's as ridiculous as you think. Especially like when you got guys like Eli Manning being like, I'm not playing for that team in the draft.
That wasn't him, that was his father.
Whatever, it's the same thing.
I'm just saying. It was Archie. And he got 2 Super Bowls out of it, so his dad obviously had intuition.
That's true.
And what did Phillip Rivers get? 14 kids.
That's true. But he played well. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see how this ends up going. Like I said, I don't think it's realistic, but it's a wrinkle in the fold. Like, what if Justin Fields kind of just wants? Because I don't think Justin Fields is ever going to go into the media. Like, that's where you could become a prima donna. Yeah. It's like when you're like blasting on Twitter, like, get me out of here and stuff like that. Which I don't think Justin Fields would. I think he might just say to the organization, like, I think our time is probably to the end, and I think you should see what you can get from me. I don't think so. I don't think so either. What if?
I have a feeling though that in these situations, the players don't have the power. Yes, the players are getting paid millions of dollars, and yes, they have whatever, but at the end of the day, like, it's still an at-will contract. It's like kind of like at work when you think you have the power, but at the end of the day, you can get fired at any given point. It's an at-will contract.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of, have we chatted since Jim Harbaugh went to the Chargers?
I don't know if we've chatted, but interesting move, not kind of upsetting.
Yeah.
I think he almost signed last week. Like,
yeah.
It was out there.
Last time we were talking about like Belichick and Harbaugh still being on the market and saying like, I really would have hoped that
the Bears would have done their due diligence.
Yeah. Where it really seems like they didn't even put in any effort there.
Yeah.
And then Harbaugh, I'm sure gets a handpick wherever he wanted to go.
Sure.
And I'm just kind of interested why he landed with the Chargers. He must like the West Coast or something like that. But the Chargers...
Better than Michigan. No offense.
I like Michigan.
This weather sucks.
Michigan's a beautiful state.
I know, I'm not disagreeing, but like, I would rather go to LA too and chill out there.
It could go either way. I mean, but then you're living in LA. I don't know.
It's gonna be just fine.
But not even talking about like the weather and the physical location. The Chargers have no fan base. They play 17 road games. And I guess it's a good move from that team who's trying to like establish a culture with a guy who might be able to spur some. I think they needed to make a big move.
Yeah.
Because they severely underperformed. They are probably what they thought were in their window. Like 2 years ago, we thought that Justin Herbert was going to be in the MVP talks, and that really hasn't kind of come to fruition.
He's a great player, Justin Herbert, and I think the hardest thing in the NFL is to get a franchise quarterback. There aren't many opportunities to get a franchise quarterback, many job openings, if you will. And so if you're looking for a job opening, you don't know what you got with Caleb, you don't know what you got with Fields, but you know what you got with Herbert.
That's true.
So if I'm going to take a job in the NFL, I'm going to take the one that's got the franchise quarterback.
But I guess, it's also a guy that you didn't pick. Like, I feel like
Justin Herbert seems like a pretty good guy.
Yeah. But I still feel like if you want to be like the coach and and make your mark and be the decisions, I feel like the Bears would have been the way to go. But that being said, I'm sure
you have to make your mark, though. You have to. So much uncertainty.
Yeah, that's
where
true.
You literally know.
I saw a stat that Jim Harbaugh re-enters the NFL with the highest win percentage of anyone who is currently active, including Bill Belichick. But I mean, his sample size is pretty small. He had like 4 or 5 seasons
with the Niners. Yeah, they were very successful at Kaepernick.
They were good. That's kind of all I have to say about this. What we have so far.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think right now for Bears talk, like it is what it is with Bears talk. Said they got 2 hires to fill out the coaching staff. We're obviously waiting to see what they do over here with the pick, and I don't think there's gonna be a lot of news. But I think there's going to be a lot of content that we're going to have to fill in the upcoming weeks.
Well, we talked about it in last week's episode, and I want to just kind of reiterate if anyone's still watching at this point.
Oh, it's draft?
No, 100 subscribers. We'll go to the draft. We got 86 days.
So it's it's less than 1 subscriber a day.
Less than 1 subscriber a day, yeah.
What are we at, like 34?
Around like 36 or something like that, yeah. So, toss us a bone. It doesn't cost anything to like or subscribe. And, I want to hear what the people at large want to do with Justin Fields, because I was talking with the guy at work and he softened me on the whole situation. I think I still want Caleb Williams, but we're going to talk about that next week.
No, I still want Caleb.
We're going to talk about that next week.
All right. Sounds good.
Kevin, got anything else?
No, I don't.
All right.
Peace out.